Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to discuss about human experimentation. But before that, let us first define what is human experimentation. It is anything done to an individual to learn how it will affect him. Its main objective is the acquisition of new scientific knowledge rather than therapy. So from the two definition, it describes about learning and finding new scientific knowledge to be used. From our third definition, it is a systematic scientific investigation that can be either interventional or observational and involves human beings as research subject. So from the word itself, human experimentation, there is a process of involving human beings to be used for the research. There are two classifications of human experiment, the therapeutic research and the non-therapeutic research. But let us first discuss what is therapeutic research is. It is one that may have direct benefit for the patient. So, direct benefit for the patient, it is um, provided experiment that could probably and must be beneficiary to the patient. And one of the best example throughout the medical history is the non-conventional radiotherapy. So it is provided and experimented given for the patient who experiences um, heart failure, cancer, and any other diseases that could probably help by the use of this therapy. And another one is pacemaker. According to what I have read, pacemaker have been experimented to provide electrical stimulation for the proper heart function. So it is basically needed and given to the patient who experiences heart failures. And another one is the non-therapeutic research. It provides additional knowledge without direct benefit to the person. So, non-therapeutic, it is just a medical progress that designed to study something that aim to find solution. So, there is no certain patient could probably prove or this research a matter of finding and aiming. So one example is that um, doing some research because the researcher or the expert wanted to know what will be the result if this drug has been given to the patient. So that's non-therapeutic research. It has no direct benefit to the patient, nor it is just a process of study. Between the two, the central difference is just a matter of intent or aim matter that um, through the result given. Let's proceed now to the three types of human experimentation. The traditional treatment, research treatment, whether it is medical research experimentation. So let us first have traditional treatment. Uses normal for therapeutic purposes. So I have discussed earlier to you what is therapeutic purposes. It is provided benefit. So traditional treatment, it is have been long time use treatment such as using herbal or herb for providing treatment for the patient. The next is the research treatment, whether it is medical or non-medical research. A sick person is treated with new methods and techniques primarily for the therapeutic purposes. So, it is direct benefit for the patients. So, this research treatment, it requires primarily experimentation and proper researches in which it was been used to provide a direct help to provide to provide for the clinical needs of any patient, such as if a person experiences from what I have discussed to you earlier, that the pacer, so that pacer helps to provide the proper function of the heart. So it is primarily provided to give or help the person who experiences heart problems. And the last one is the research experimentation, treating individuals with new procedures and drugs for purely scientific purposes. Um, um, Based from what I have read about research experimentation, one of the example is about providing or making a drug for medication. So in providing these drugs, um, scientists or um, experts who makes drugs is that they provide a lot of processes in conducting or making these drugs. Um, sa madaling salita, dumadaan muna sa mahabang proseso bago magkaroon ng mga gamot. Um, Through this human experimentation, ginagamit yung mga tao sa pag-provide kung appropriate ba yung drug na to sa isang klaseng sakit. Like for example, yung paracetamol, it was being tested at first na kung effective ba to sa may lagnat or effective ba to sa may ubo bago siya dumaan sa bago siya makuha sa mga drugstores, dumadaan muna siya sa clinical process na kung saan tinitest yung gamot bago siya lumabas sa market. So, research experimentation is about providing a treatment for any individual by the process of making drugs.
The following are some overviews of what we are going to discuss about the different types of human experimentation. First is, of course, the human experimentation in USA, experiments on gastric and digestive physiology, yellow fever, the Tuskegee syphilis study, drugs for the treatment of AIDS. But of course, we are also going to discuss some of the very first human experimentation recorded in the history. So these are the cases of human experimentation recorded in history. Herophilus conducted vivisections or live dissections on criminals. But of course, people thought poking the guts of even the dead person would anger the god, so human experimentation was banned. Especially when Roman law arises, which is totally against human experimentation. The said 8-year-old child was actually the son of his gardener. He injected a pus from a cowpox. From the hand of one of his milkmaids, the child fell ill for a week, but after that, the child recovers. He now tried to inject a smallpox pus to the child, and amazingly, the child was immune already. He also tried this process with his 10-month-old child just to justify the success of his discovered vaccine, which came from the Latin word vacca, which means cow. Thankfully, his experiment did not hurt anyone. Next, we have the Tuskegee syphilis trials from 1930s to 1972. These men were just told they were receiving free health care, meals, and burial insurance in exchange of participating in the experiment. Victims of the study, aside from the men who was hired, also includes the wives who contracted the disease and children born with congenital syphilis. When the patients feel something wrong, they will just say that they have a bad blood, that the medication is kicking off the bad stuffs out of it. It is said that the researchers wanted to know the long-term effect of the disease if left untreated. Before this study, it is tested first on white people due to the belief that the disease have different effects on black and white people. Around 1940s, penicillin came around and became officially the cure of syphilis, but the patients are purposely prevented by getting that cure so that the study can go on. Next is the mustard gas tested on American military. 17 to 18-year-old boys were asked to participate in an experiment that will shorten the World War. Only when the boys reached the research laboratory were told the experiment involved mustard gas. The participants, almost of whom suffered external and internal burns, were ignored by the Navy, and in some cases threatened with the Espionage Act. This experiment happens in the First World War. Next, we have the HeLa cells. Her cells were the first successfully kept alive and cloned. It is instrumental in the development of polio vaccine, cancer research, AIDS research, gene mapping, and countless of scientific researches. She died without money and buried without a tombstone in the family cemetery. For decades, her husband and 5 children does not know about her amazing contribution to the modern medicine. Next is Dr. William Beaumont and the stomach. Beaumont would dye food into a string, then insert it through the hole in the trader's stomach. Every few hours, he would remove the food to observe how it had been digested. His experiments led to a worldwide acceptance that digestion is a chemical process, not a mechanical one. Next is sexual reassignment. John Money, a psychologist and a proponent of the idea that gender is learned, convinced his parents that he would have a successful functional maturation as a girl. He spent his childhood bullied and seriously depressed. He committed suicide at the age of 38. Lastly, we have the treatment for AIDS. This treatment was actually tested on children in foster cares.
Let's proceed now to the laws. National Research Act Public Law 93 to 348. It has two aspects of National Research Act of 1974. May sinusundan silang proseso and categories in conducting this law. So the first is the act required that a local oversight committee with lay members review research on human subjects para ma-approve or masunod yung gagawing experiment, there must be a proper review of research na kung saan magkakaroon ng committee na magde-discuss at magre-review or magche-check ng dapat at kailangan gawin para sa research na yon. And then, sa second category, as a response to the reports of contemporary ethical transgression, the Act also created the National Commission for the Protection of Human Subjects of Biomedical and Behavioral Research. So, for the history, naranasan ng mga taong hindi mabigyan ng tamang suporta at sapat na pagpapaliwanag kung tama ba or kung ano yung gagawin sa kanilang experiment. But due to this law, the people or the human have been used for these experiments have been fully been protected for their human rights. Another one is the Protection of Human Subjects in Medical Experimentation Act, Sections 24170 to 24179.5. The informed consent process and requires that the experimental subject bills of right be provided to all research subject in medical experiment. So, it is similar to what um, the category from another law earlier. So, this Protection of Human Subjects in Medical Experimentation Act talks about human rights in which the person who have been used for the experiment must be informed legally with consent if he or she would allow the experiment to happen. For so it provided to conduct research and medical experiment with the proper consent. Um, as what I have said earlier, that from the history, there is no proper consent provided by the researcher back then. For so this law provided that a person who have been experimented must be legally given a consent for them to fully inform what will happen during and after the experiment.
So, after we have discussed everything about human experimentation, I will now give you different situations or two different situations regarding human experimentation and its underlying ethical perspectives. So, the first one is the mustard gas experiment. So, the United States government conducted mustard gas experiments on American soldiers during the World War II to test the efficacy of clothing and protective equipment in the event of mustard gas attack. The soldiers were put in a gas chamber or directly exposed to mustard gas for hours without informed or voluntary consent. Since servicemen must obey any orders, they were forced to participate in the study and to take the vow of silence for the rest of their life while suffering from intense respiratory problems, skin burns, and cancers afterwards. So, sabi sa sitwasyon, itong soldiers that are supposed to serve the United States for the World War II, nilagay sila sa isang gas chambers at inexpose sila sa mustard gas or sa sulfur without their consent. So, ano nga ba muna yung mustard gas? So, mustard gas or sulfur mustard is a chemical agent that causes severe burning of the skin, eyes, and respiratory tract. The gas is a vesicant or blister agent causing redness and itching of the skin that results in yellow, pus-filled blisters. So, with its effect, nakikita naman natin kung gaano siya ka-poisonous. So, ginawa itong experiment na to sa group of soldiers in order to test yung gamit nilang safety vest or yung safety gears para kapag dumating or kapag nangyari yung World War II, makikita or masusubukan kung lahat ba ng tao ay magsusuot ng ganong type of vest ay maliligtas ba sila sa ganitong klase ng sulfur kapag parang binalahan yung yung United States ng tawag doon, ng mustard gas. Alright. So, I have chosen Ross ethics in order for this situation to be said ethical because Ross is the one who introduced the actual duty. So, based on the actual duty, it is the action one ought to choose from among many other actions. Meaning to say, since in the situation it is stated that the soldiers are ought to do whatever their head or whatever their leader is saying. So, kahit anong mangyari, ano man yung kalabasan ng experiment na yon, whether or which the vest is effective or strong enough to resist the gas itself, or if ever it fails, kailangan pa rin nilang gawin yung experiment na yon kasi nga, yun yung gusto nung leader nila. So, based from the actual duty of Ross, it is ethical. So, meanwhile, on the same situation, I look for another ethical perspective that underlies with this situation. But now, it is from Rawls. So, it is the Rawls social justice. So, real social justice, its guiding principle for determining social justice is justice as fairness or the original position or when we are going to stand behind the veil of ignorance. So, as for the veil of ignorance, it is whether we will be felon or victim. So, 'di ba? Sabi doon, tawag doon, kung tayo tatayo sa likod ng veil of ignorance, we never know whether we will be rich or poor, we will be in sickness or in health, ganyan, or whether we will be good or be evil. But on this time, the soldiers will never know whether they will be felon or victim. So, if they will stand on the veil of ignorance, they will do the experiment itself. So, therefore, it is ethical kasi nga, justice as fairness. So, kumbaga, without them knowing kung ano yung magiging ending or kung ano yung magiging kalalabasan nung experiment na yun, gagawin pa din nila. So, kapag ginawa nila yon ethical yon kasi, tawag doon, parang, kumbaga, hindi nila tinitignan yung magiging consequence eh. Kahit alam nila na, syempre as soldiers, dapat alam nila na the gas is poisonous or merong magiging negative effect yun sa kanila. So, dahil walang consent or kahit walang consent, gagawin nila yon kasi hindi nga nila alam kung ano yung kalalabasan, kung magfe-fail ba yung vest na yon, magfe-fail ba yung na protektahan sila, or magsasucceed yon. So, gagawin pa rin nila yon kahit hindi nila alam yung kalalabasan. Okay. Gamit pa rin yung Rawls ethical perspective. 'Di ba yung sabi ko kanina, it is ethical base dun sa statement ng Rawls ethics na pinili ko. Pero there is also statement from Rawls ethics na nag-i-invalidate naman nung situation or nagsasabi naman na it is unethical. This statement states that the principle of equal liberty, or each person is to have an equal right to the most extensive basic liberty compatible with similar liberty for others. So, kumbaga, sinasabi naman nito na kung ito yung gagamitin nating perspective sa idea ni Rawls, magiging unethical siya kasi hindi nagkaroon ng equal liberty eh. Kumbaga, you just did the experiment without their consent. So, kahit, halimbawa, ikaw yung soldier, tapos, sa'yo yun ginawa without your consent, tapos yung taong gumawa nun sa'yo, they are keeping themselves safe. Unethical siya kasi wala siyang equal liberty. Kumbaga, merong isang napahamak, tapos merong isang ligtas. Tapos, kumbaga, parang wala kang karapatan to choose your own safety dahil sa service mo. So, unethical yon kapag ito yung gagamitin nating statement na dapat meron yung kada tao na equal liberty. Okay. So, kung kanina, yung isa nating statement or yung isa nating situation ay walang direct experiment sa katawan nung tao or nung mga soldiers dahil nga they are protected with their vest. Ito naman ating second situation ay considered na, kumbaga yung kanina mapag-iisip ka pa kung human experiment ba siya kasi nga 'di ba ang sinasabi kanina sa history ng human experiment ay ito yung pagbubukas ng katawan ng tao in order to study each body parts. So kumbaga parang kapag narinig mo yung term na human experimentation, ang unang bagay na napapasok sa isip mo ay dapat may direct contact sa tao. So, eto na yon. Ito na yung human experimentation na merong direct contact dun sa growth or dun sa human body ng isang bata. So, this is how the another situation goes. So, in experiments at the National Institute of Health, or the NIH, a genetically engineered human growth hormone is injected into healthy short children. Consent is obtained from parents and affirmed by the children themselves. The children receive 156 injections each year in the hope of becoming taller. These injections are linked, in some studies, to a potential increased cancer risk, are painful, and may aggravate rather than reduce the stigma of short stature. Moreover, while growth rate is increased in the short term, it is unclear that the final net height of the child is significantly increased by the treatment. Unfortunately, the HGH study have continued without modification, putting healthy short children at risk. So, sinasabi sa sitwasyon, ito palang situation na binanggit ko ay kinat ko na siya dahil masyado siyang mahaba. Kumbaga, binigay ko lang yung pinaka-gist nung kung ano yung talagang ginagawa doon sa experiment. So, sinasabi doon na yung mga magulang, pumayag sila na magkaroon ng ganitong sumailalim yung mga anak nila sa ganitong experiment dahil yung mga anak nila nabubuli. 'Di ba stigma naman sa tao na kapag maliit ka, aloof ka, or kapag maliit ka, you are being bullied because of your height. Kasi nga, parang ang normal height sa mga tao, dapat you are on a height of 5 and above, mga ganyan. So, kumbaga, tawag doon, gusto lang nilang iwasan na yung anak nila ay mabully. So, sinasabi din dito na yung pag inject ng HGH ay meron siyang mga negative effects. So, sinasabi din na hindi pa napapatunayan na yung kung after ba nung injection procedures, kung after several number of injections, yung magiging result ba nung height ng mga bata ay dahil talaga doon sa injection or dahil they still have the chance na tumangkad pa. Tapos, sinasabi din na na patuloy yung paggawa nung ganitong klase ng human experimentation kahit na nagdudulot lang siya ng risk factor dun sa health ng mga malulusog naman talagang bata na binibigyan ng ganitong injection. Kumbaga, after they receive numbers of injections, nagkakaroon naman siya ng negative effect sa health nila. So, ang tanong dito, ethical ba yon na dahil maliit yung anak mo, papayag ka lang na basta-bastang paturukan siya kahit na hindi pa gaanong napapatunayan na nakakatulong talaga sa pagtangkad itong injection na to, at lalo't na higit, meron din siyang negative effect sa health. So, sabi sa utilitarian ethics, it is ethical since it states that utilitarianism is often described by the phrase, the greatest good for the greatest number of people, and is also known as the greatest happiness principle. So, it is ethical with regards to this phrase kasi uh, parang greatest happiness principle. Oo nga naman, kasi yung pag halimbawa, ako yung bata na nabubuli, tas tumangkad ako. Kumbaga, hindi ko na mararanasan yung mga pambubuli na nararanasan ko before, and also, it will give me the happiness that I needed or that I am looking for na naipagkait sa akin nung mga panahong maliit pa ako. So, dahil utilitarianism is for the greatest number of people, ano naman to, dahil marami na nga yung mga bata na naturukan ng ganitong HGH, human growth hormone, parang yun na yung nag-validate nung greatest number of people na sinasabi sa utilitarianism. Therefore, it became valid or ethical na marami yung nakikinabang dito kahit na in the end magkakaroon sila ng negative effect sa health nung mga nakatanggap ng HGH. Also, I took pragmatism for this situation dahil it is also applicable for this situation to be valid or to be ethical, kasi 'di ba sinasabi ng pragmatism na ano isa sa mga parang principles ng pragmatism ay yung experimentalism. So it states that pragmatists are experimentalists. They give more importance to action than ideas. Activity is the means to attain the end of knowledge. Therefore, one should learn by doing constant experimentation, which is required in every field of life. So, yung ideation, kumbaga, valid to sa pragmatism dahil sinasabi na it is normal na magkaroon tayo ng mga experimentalism sa buhay. So, kumbaga, kahit nandun yung idea or merong ideation na parang negative siya, ganyan, nandun pa rin tayo sa thinking na, tawag doon, action than idea. So, parang learning by doing, ganoon nga, parang hindi mo makikita yung kalalabasan kung hindi mo susubukan. So, naging ethical siya in a way na nagkaroon ka ng experiment. I mean, in-apply mo yung experiment in order to find out kung ano yung magiging kalalabasan niya. So, ayun. Kung ano yung mga ideas nyo, share nyo lang sa comment box and baka or pwede rin naman kayong gumamit ng iba namang ethical perspectives na applicable sa ating mga situation. So, again, yung dalawang situations ay examples ng dalawang magkaibang experimentation. Isa ay may direct contact at yung isa yung indirect contact type of human experimentation. And also, pwede ka namang mag-state din ng sarili mo lang na opinion without considering any ethical perspective whether or which these statements or these situations are ethical or not.